Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Vicente.
And this is Izzy.
And welcome back to the IV podcast. This is going to be a little weird episode. As you can tell, we don't have our mic, so we're not going like this anymore. As you can tell, her little brother actually is letting us use the microphone for the time being for the podcast. I'm actually going to invest in the Yeti. And, we did some audio tests earlier. Sounds pretty good, as we can tell from our new episodes, you guys seem to love our new background and whole audio clips. So, it's a little fun.
Yeah, we're just testing out the Yeti for now, and we'll see if we go for it. But for now, we really like it. And then the green screen was pretty fun to put up.
Oh, yeah.
Not too difficult.
No, yeah, it was fun to play around with, see all different backgrounds and stuff like that. So this episode, we're just going to talk about, just some of our favorite movies in the comic book genre and, horror genre, just those two. And then lastly, we'll just talk about, just movies we love, whether it's comedy, action, just anything in general.
Yeah.
So we hope you guys like this new setup, because I know it's a little weird. People say it's weird when you're going like this, and it is. And when we're just doing audio, we used to just have the little microphones right here. And it kind of helps, but then there's days to where, we were kind of struggling because we would sound so staticky. Mm-hmm. I noticed in our second episode we released, which is our top 15 horror movie list. I sounded so staticky. Izzy sounded fine, but for me, I had it right here and I just sounded really, really bad.
Yeah, for me, I feel like people could barely hear me if it was right here. Mm-hmm. And that's why I had to keep it close up to my face, because I have a really low voice.
Yeah.
So I'm not very loud at all, surprising especially when I talk. When I sing, that's a different story. But when I talk, I do not talk loud at all.
Yeah, so honestly, the Yeti, it picks up really, really good. Izzy went to go do some errands, so I was kind of playing around with it. She played around with it. We checked on our iMovie, and audio seems pretty good, crisp and clear. We were going to use headphones, but honestly, just playing around with it, I think we could do it like this. So it sounds pretty good. So we hope you guys enjoyed the new mic quality, camera quality, and, our green screen that we have behind us. You guys are seeing something back there, but, honestly, for us, this is a big old screen.
Yeah.
It's a green screen. It's kind of weird sometimes.
Yeah, it was kind of funny when I got the green screen working, because when it worked for the first time, I kind of screamed, and it freaked him out, and he was like, he thought something was wrong, but I was just so excited that it actually worked, because, sometimes you get something and you try it because you saw it on a YouTube video, and it seemed like this great thing, and then it just doesn't work. It's kind of disappointing, but for this worked perfectly. Even with the way the background is, you guys don't see it, but I was worried it wasn't going to be light enough, but it actually worked perfectly, surprisingly.
Yep, and, like I said, this episode's going to be a little short, fun one, and then coming this Thursday, we'll have our Spider-Man Homecoming review coming up. With further ado, let's get into the episode. Now, Izzy, for the comic book horror genre, what would you say is, at least your top 5 comic book movies, or just some of your favorite movies, favorite movie moments in general?
I don't know if I could list my top 5 superhero movies, but some of my favorites are Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Captain America. And as much as it's sad, I still really do love Endgame, and then Thor Ragnarok. I know Thor isn't supposed to be serious, but that is such a, just a fun movie to watch. And it was one that I actually held off watching for a long time after it came out, but I'm kind of sad I waited and didn't watch it in theaters.
I don't really blame you, because Thor 1 was okay. Yeah. I enjoy it. Thor 2, I'm just like, damn, this sucks, it's not horrible, but it's one where if I'm rewatching the MCU, some of it, I'm just like, damn it, I gotta rewatch this one.
Yeah.
It only really is important just because it introduces a reality stone. Mm-hmm. But then Thor Ragnarok was a really good start. I'm like, damn, this is good too, where it had funny moments, but also had the serious moments. And then Thor Love and Thunder, I'm just like, damn, you had gold, but then you kind of effed up on it. You see, for me, I like the MCU, but I told Izzy this the other day. I just feel like with the whole MCU now, I'm feeling oversaturated. Mm-hmm. It's not like hero movies back then. Because for me, my top 5, it's easy. It's going to be Spider-Man 2, Iron Man, Blade, the first Blade, and then, I just told you the other day. Oh yeah, Batman 89, and my all-time favorite, Across the Spider-Verse. Those are just some of the unique movies I like. I love Infinity War. I love Endgame, but for me, those top 5 they don't really match up to The Endgame and Infinity War just don't match up to my top 5. You know, with Blade was just an all-time classic. You had Wesley Snipes. That dude was just a full-on martial artist. He knows martial arts, so a lot of the fight choreography I just love. And I remember as a kid, I always thought Blade was badass. I still think he's badass, you know. The new Blade movie, I'm excited for, but at the same time, I know how the MCU likes to put a lot of comedy in their movies, and I'm not saying Blade can't have it, but Blade needs to be like kind of like a serious tone, just like the original Blade. Blade 2 was awesome. That was like the damn near best perfect sequel. And in Blade Trinity, as much as I can like it, I also have huge problems with it. You know, in the Tobey Maguire trilogy, as I've said on the previous episodes, I honestly think that's one of the best superhero trilogies of all time. You know, no disrespect to the Dark Knight trilogy, the Iron Man trilogy, and the Captain America trilogy. I love those movies, but at least in the Tobey Maguire movies, I felt like it was a human story too. Not just like this whole big universe, which I don't mind necessarily, but I just like simple-minded street level heroes, you know, just simple stories to where they can kind of breathe on their own without trying to connect to the bigger, greater good. They're not kind of sound like a hypocrite because I'm mentioning Across the Spider-Verse and Iron Man, but at least with Across the Spider-Verse, it kind of did feel a little personal. It did have those Spider-Man 2 vibes with, you know, Miles having a human side, learning about him, you know, and getting his version of Parker. Like, but with the first Iron Man, that movie was just special. You know, Robert Downey Jr., he comes in, you know, with his big chip on his shoulder, or not like big chip on his shoulder, but he's coming in, people don't want him because of his past, you know, and it was a very big risk because this movie could either break Marvel or lose Marvel, and honestly, look at history, you know, if Iron Man was, you know, we can all argue about what movie started the whole Marvel superhero thing, whether it was Blade, the original X-Men, or, you know, Spider-Man, the first Tobey Maguire movie, but in all honesty, if Iron Man never succeeded, then I don't think we would never gotten the MCU at all, and that's a known fact.
Yeah, I to be honest, when it comes to the Iron Man movies, I love the first one, but the ones after that just aren't my favorite. I still appreciate them and have watched them, but they aren't my favorite. But I do agree that the older Marvel movies are like where it's at, because like I feel like the newer ones are just so pop culture heavy and like having to make everything relevant, and it's not focused on the story.
And that's the problem I have with Phase 4 of Marvel, is that it's trying to have so much going on that it gets kind of exhausting, because I know this Wednesday Secret Invasion starts. I'm glad, and I've heard nothing but good things about that TV series. People even got to saw the whole thing. But even then, I just think Marvel needs to choose quality over quantity.
Yeah, I definitely agree, because like I mean the TV shows were great when they were first announced, and like it was gonna be this cool thing, but you definitely see the movies suffer because of how much work is going into the TV shows, unfortunately.
Yeah, like if you didn't see if you didn't see WandaVision and you went to go see Multiverse of Madness, you'd be very, very confused, you know, and we're people who love, you know, the Marvel movies, the Marvel shows. You know, I love the comics. Izzy has never really read some comics. I'll tell her some comic facts. But, you know, just Marvel needs to take a step back. Now, I do want to talk about DC right now, especially with their ongoing universe and their whole new universe. I'm going to say right now, my top 5 DC movies is going to be the original Superman movie as number 1, Batman 1989 with Michael Keaton, Man of Steel, The Flash, and James Gunn's Suicide Squad 2. And, you know, honorable mention, I'll say Dark Knight. You know, I love The Dark Knight, but I always tell people, do you like Dark Knight because of Batman himself or because of the Joker? And, you know, this is kind of a hot take and I might make someone mad with it, but honestly, I really think people just love The Dark Knight because of the Joker, which is totally fine. But sometimes in that movie, it feels like the Joker is the main character instead of the Batman himself, and the movie is literally called after him, The Dark Knight.
Yeah. For me, in the DC universe, I personally I like the DC movies and I have watched DC movies, but I definitely prefer Marvel over DC at the moment. I think my favorite like DC movies are probably the Suicide Squad and the Birds of Prey movie with Harley Quinn, just because those are a lot more comedic heavy and a lot funnier.
Hey, you see, Izzy's boring. She doesn't like dark brooding stuff, and I do. Oh,
I'm sorry.
Damn it. Okay, let me actually add the Batman to my one of my top 5 DC movies. You know, honorable mention right there. You know, scratch that. Let me do that again. It goes the Batman 89, Man of Steel, Superman 78, and then the Suicide Squad. I'll just say that. I'm probably going to be inconsistent, but you know what? My top 5 movies for Marvel and DC always switch around.
True.
But with the Flash movie, check our episode if you haven't seen it. But with the Flash movie, I've had time to reflect on it. And I do think out of the whole Snyderverse, it's easily one of the top 3 movies. Mm-hmm. But it just sucks because we don't really have a clear statement as if this movie's going to be, set in James Gunn's new universe. Spoilers right now, 3, 2, 1. George Clooney ends up appearing in the end as Bruce Wayne. And George Clooney has played Bruce Wayne, in one movie, Batman and Robin. I don't want to talk about that movie. But the thing is that James Gunn confirmed that his new Batman is going to be young, just like the new Superman. So it's but then I hear reports of Ezra Miller being the Flash in the new universe, but it's how's that possible if he's in the universe with George Clooney and George Clooney is confirmed not to be the new Batman?
Yeah, I don't see that I don't see how that works. And personally for me, I don't think he's going to be in the universe because James Gunn has come out and said that Blue Beetle is supposed to be the first movie in his universe.
Yeah, but the thing is that James Gunn also said that Jason Momoa's Aquaman 2 is going to lead directly into Superman Legacy, which is where it gets hella confusing, and it's damn, I'm going to be honest. I think the whole DC universe, as much as it pains me to say, if you really want to just start fresh, you need to start all over again. And I get James Gunn wants to keep his Peacemaker cast. Keep the Peacemaker cast. Keep them because you can play around with that. And it hurts to say, but if you really want to just start a new universe, I know they fired Henry Cavill, which I think is still stupid. Mm-hmm. If I have it my way, I think the only 2 I would keep would be Ben Affleck's Batman and Henry Cavill. Oh, Ben Affleck's Batman I want to talk about a little bit before Izzy gets the mic and we talk about horror, I'm going to say right now, Ben Affleck, you never got the fair shot at being Batman. Mm-hmm. I said a lot in my Flash review, but we were on a time constraint, but you have the mic, Ben Affleck. If you were to get a true solo Batman movie, I honestly think it would have been the best one ever.
Yeah, I would have loved to see your Batman more. And just back to the DC universe, I'm excited, but I don't know. It's so hard to tell. I agree I think if they want to restart the DC universe, I think they should. And I know it seems like it would be like James Gunn favoring his TV show with keeping Peacemaker, because I know that's a lot of people's arguments on, why get rid of some characters but not your Peacemaker? But at the same time, I don't think the Peacemaker or just, any of the Suicide Squad has... I mean, I know they have interacted with the Justice League, but they aren't in the Justice League story as much, so I feel like their story could still be salvaged. Yeah, you can kind of play around with it.
I guess, with the whole Flash reset in a new universe, I guess you can say that the Justice League never appeared at the last episode of Peacemaker. Yeah. But even then, but I want to get back to Ben Affleck too right now. His story was actually going to be inspired by the Arkham Asylum game, which to me is one of the best Batman games ever. No disrespect to Arkham City or Arkham Knight, but Arkham Asylum was something else, dude. That game was fun. I remember, I wasn't really a big Batman fan, I only really loved Michael Keaton back then, but when Batman Arkham Asylum came out, and he was going to be voiced by Kevin Conroy, I'm like, I'm going to give this game a chance. Holy crap, that game was just so fucking badass. Add in Mark Hamill as the Joker. Oh, and that's another crime too. We never got Mark Hamill as a live-action Joker. That's something I really, really wish we can get. Mark Hamill, I think he can still do it. Just put some makeup on him. If this man can come back as Luke Skywalker, this man can come back as the Joker, live action.
Oh, hell
But, my closing statement for Ben Affleck's Batman, the main villain was going to be Deathstroke. Alfred was actually going to die in that movie. Yeah, that would have been heartbreaking, but that would have been such a personal movie, and I love that. So, Izzy, before we get into horror, do you want to say anything last about Marvel or DC or just anything in general for comic movies?
I think for comic movies, especially for someone who doesn't like comics, I think there is a movie out there for you. You just have to find what you like. If you like comedy, then go for more of the comedic heroic movies. Mm-hmm. If you like serious, go for more of the serious movies. Mm-hmm. But just because you don't like reading comics and art in the superheroes, you still should give them a chance. I know one of our friends, she's not a super big fan of comic movies, but we actually watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume Volume 3, and she loved it. She really liked it. So you just gotta find what you like, honestly.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say right now, if you're worried about James Gunn ruining up this new universe, I'm going to say it right now, don't be scared, because look at Guardians 3, look at his work. Guardians 3 and the Suicide Squad 2 most recently, he did a pretty good job, and I think he'll do a good job in this universe. I don't think he'll make it so much like Marvel. It'll be unique in its own way. But I think people just need to calm down on, saying James Gunn is going to mess it up, because he's not. I'm pretty sure he learned from Kevin Feige. And for, people are bashing Andy Muschietti for directing a new Batman movie, Batman the Brave and the Bold. I think he's going to do a good job. Look what he did with Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck in the same movie.
Yeah.
He did a good job with their Batman. And I told Izzy, it sucks because Ben Affleck's Batman was finally the Bruce Wayne I know from the comics, with his quotes, with his closeness to Barry, and just his whole demeanor and attitude. But then we're not going to get that solo movie. And here comes Michael Keaton, and this fool made Michael Keaton into a badass again. Me and Izzy were watching Batman Returns. I haven't seen it since I was 13. Izzy has never seen it.
No.
And I told Izzy, damn, you know what? I think Michael Keaton's my new favorite Batman again. Because it used to be Michael Keaton, then it was Ben Affleck, and then it was Robert Pattinson. But after The Flash, I really think it might be Michael Keaton again. Yeah. Hell yeah, that fool is just a beast as Batman.
He was.
All right, now we're going to get into horror. And Izzy, this is something that we love the most.
Yes.
And I'm going to be honest, as much as I love Marvel and DC and Star Wars, my heart is always going to belong to horror. And, for a while, I was always kind of like debating what was my all-time favorite horror movie, whether it was Scream or Halloween. But as I mentioned before, it's always going to be Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, and I mean, I think my franchise that I will always love is the Child's Play franchise.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because that's what I started horror with, so it will always be something I hold close to my heart. And so I think for my favorite horror movie, I just gotta go with Child's Play too.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the Chucky TV series, I highly recommend it.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite TV shows. Right? That's something that me and Izzy love doing, is just watching a show together, just any show in general, whether it's The Mandalorian or a new Marvel show. But yeah, but horror for me, I've always appreciated horror, and as someone who grew up in a Catholic household, I always kind of watched horror in secret. Granted, as a kid, I was scared, around like 7 or 8, because my brother Victor would always put them on. He knew they scare me. But I never really sat down and watched a horror movie, and that's why Scream, I hold Scream near and dear to my heart, because it was the first ever horror movie I just sat down and watched,
Yeah.
I remember I was home alone, it was around 6 p.m. It's getting a little dark. I remember because it was around the holiday times, like November. I think it was the week before November. I was 13. No, it was the week before Thanksgiving. I was 13. I had some money, so I went to my local gas station, got, a Slurpee, and I got a bag of hot Cheeto fries, made some popcorn. I'm like, you know what? Let me watch Scream. Because I've always heard people talk about it, and ever since I sat down and watched Scream when I was 13, my love for horror began, and then I started watching the Jason movies, the Freddy Krueger movies, and then came Halloween. And that first Halloween movie is just perfect. It's just so scary. That, to me, is what horror should be. Demonic possessions, paranormal stuff, and, alien, sci-fi horror is scary. But when it's something like Halloween, the original Halloween, it's just something about it that's so scary, because it was just a normal kid. We don't know why he snapped. And then one day he just decided to, get rid of his sister. I don't know what I can and can't say when it comes to YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. But it's just something about the first movie that's so scary, because anyone can be the Shape. And that's what makes horror... Okay, for me, horror is the most scariest and at its best when there's no motivation, no redeeming character feats, just nothing, just pure evil, no pain, no pity, no nothing.
Yeah, I think for me, horror is the most scary when you can relate it back to you. Like, looking back at the movie Smile, that movie was probably one of the scariest movies I've seen, and it wasn't even because of the gore, it was just because of how psychological that movie was.
Mental health and everything, yeah.
It was just so relatable, and it could happen to anybody. That's what made it the scariest.
Yeah, Smile was good. Smile even scared me, and I'm someone who doesn't really get scared when it comes to horror. But when it comes to sci-fi horror, I'm kind of iffy on it, because it can either be really good or really cheesy. But when it comes to sci-fi horror, it's always going to be The Thing, Alien, and the first Predator movie. You know, and I'm going to say right now, I do consider The Terminator a horror movie. If you really, really want to know why, I might make a podcast episode on it one day. You know, just the first Terminator movie, I consider horror. The rest is just straight action. Now, Izzy, what would you say is some of your favorite sci-fi horror?
I think, well, I really only started watching sci-fi horror with you.
Mm-hmm. But, like, out of the ones we watched, which ones would you say?
Out of the ones we've watched, Predator versus Alien, the first Alien movie, and the first Predator movie.
Yeah, those are some good ones, especially the first Predator movie. Mm-hmm. If that movie came out now, I don't think people, I know a lot of people would not like it.
Oh, no.
Because it was just stays too manly and stuff. I'm like, honestly, I'm someone who likes to work out, and I'm someone who boxes, but whenever I watch Predator, you know, when they're just like building the traps and shit, you know, just being badasses, being men, I tell Izzy, like, damn, I'm gonna go work out after this. And I usually do. Izzy be like, she's like, I'm gonna go work, I'm like, I'm gonna go work out. She's like, did you watch Predator or a Predator clip? I'm like, yeah. You know, it's just some, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger just kicks ass. And it's the first movie to where we see Arnold Schwarzenegger about to die.
Yeah.
Like, this is a movie where you're scared for him, because in his movies, Arnold Schwarzenegger is playing this badass, and he's still a badass in this movie, but he almost dies in it, and he almost did. Mm-hmm. You know, Alien speaks for itself, and then The Thing, Kurt Russell, Keith David, kick-ass duo. Now, Izzy, like, what are just some of your favorite slasher moments, or just horror moments that you've seen in horror movies?
I think one of my favorite, like, horror moments, I think it's from Scream, and it's whenever, I think it's Billy that comes out of the closet and gets Sydney. And just that ending scene in that movie. Oh,
yeah. When Sydney stabs him and
yes.
stuff. Yeah. You know what's funny? Fun fact, Izzy has never seen any of the Scream movies until we started dating.
Yeah, I did not. So I grew up watching Goosebumps, and so that was...
Goosebumps. Yeah. You know who's going to be the new Goosebumps TV show? Justin Long.
Wait, there's going to be a new...
on Disney Plus. But they say it's going to be a little more dark. Breaking news, people. But, yeah, Justin Long's going to be in it.
We have to watch that.
Oh, my God. Anything with Justin Long. Oh, speaking of which, Justin Long is one of my horror royalties. That man needs to survive a horror movie. He gets effed over in Tusk, Jeepers Creepers, and Barbarian. Holy crap, man. That man deserves to live in a horror movie.
Okay. But usually when he dies, I feel like he deserves it. Like he
didn't deserve it in Jeepers Creepers.
Okay, not in Jeepers Creepers, but Barbarian.
No, he didn't deserve it in Tusk.
Well, I mean, he sort of did.
No, he's dead. No, hell no, he didn't, dude.
Okay, not as far as they went as of what they did at the very end, but like, just yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
He deserves some type of mercy, though. I agree.
Yeah, okay, compared to his character, Barbarian, someone that probably seems a little justified.
Yeah.
But even then, that man just seems to live in a horror movie. You know, but some of my favorite female protagonists in horror movies, Nancy Thompson. That's the OG Scream Queen right there, along with Jamie Lee Curtis. Oh, Nancy Thompson. Fuck, I forgot the actress's name. Our timer went off. We'll go a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fun, you know. I love doing this. We'll go like maybe 4 more minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fun. You know, Jamie Lee Curtis, she's just a badass. She's my crush. But Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott. Izzy, I'm thankful Izzy doesn't get annoyed and stuff. But I tell Izzy, if I ever met Neve Campbell, straight up, and I'm probably going to start blushing and stuttering and shit. And Izzy was like, you can give her a hug if you see her. So if Neve Campbell if someone on our channel post this clip on Twitter and tag Neve Campbell or on Instagram. Neve Campbell, if you ever see this, dude, just know how much I love you. Just know how much of a badass I always thought you were as a kid. And it's how much of a crush I had on you since I was a kid. You're still one of my crushes. You know, you're a rare one. You're just so cool. You know, in the Scream movies and just anything in general. You know, I'm sad you weren't in Scream 6, but you know what? You always got to have a place in my heart, Sydney. Yeah. Or Neve Campbell, whatever.
We know what you mean.
Yeah. Who would you say is one of your favorite Scream queens?
I think one of my favorite Scream queens is Neve Campbell and Jamie Lee Curtis. I've known Jamie Lee Curtis as an actor since I was little and have always loved her acting. And then when I finally watched Halloween, I was so happy.
Yeah, because she's never seen Halloween with me. So, like, you know, she showed me some horror movies I never really heard of in particular. I think one of the first ones we ever bonded with was Saw.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can count Jurassic Park as somewhat of a horror franchise. But even then, you know, it was Saw that kind of bonded us. I love the Saw series. Granted, it gets a little messy, but even then, I love the Saw movies.
Yeah, I mean, Saw really bonded us, and then I think, how many times did we go watch Spiral? 3, 4 times?
We watched Spiral 3 times. It was good. People can hate on Spiral, but I love Spiral. I'm going to say this too, and I think I'm going to I'll post these clips myself. Another horror royalty actor I love, Matthew Lillard, baby. Matthew Lillard. If you ever see this video, I will post it on my podcast channel too, on Instagram. Matthew Lillard, I'm so excited to see you on Five Nights at Freddy. Any horror movie I see you in, you're just Stu to me. Yeah, people know you as Shaggy, but you're just Stu to me. And here's a funny story. I remember when we went to go drop off Elijah and Lewis at my brother's house, after Scream 6. I was talking to my brother Alex, talking about Scream, and I was like, have you ever seen Scream, Alex? He's all like, have I ever seen Scream? And he went, I'll be right back, And it's just amazing to know, how much of an impact Scream has had on people in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And even my sister-in-law, Sarah, mentioned that, Scream back then was very popular in the 90s. It's like, damn, I would have wanted to live in that, timeline for a little bit, that era. But yeah. And my brother Alex isn't really that big of a horror fan, but the fact that he knows Scream and can, quote it goes to show how much of an impact the movie has had on a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it shows how just because a movie is labeled a horror movie doesn't mean you won't like it either. That movie is so meta that a lot of people can relate to it too.
Yeah, and like I said, Matthew Lillard, I'm going to clip the other clip. Matthew Lillard, Neve Campbell, I hope y'all see this. And if you respond to it, I swear to God, I will die a happy man right there. Jamie Kennedy, I've got response from Jamie Kennedy. I love Jamie Kennedy, but I need Matthew Lillard and Neve Campbell, Brand.
Yeah.
Or Justin Long, someone. Or, Deadmeat. I love Deadmeat. I know some people don't like Deadmeat, but I can enjoy their stuff.
Yeah, I think Deadmeat is one of the few channels that I think, I don't know him personally, but
we don't.
He puts a lot of work in his videos, and we definitely see that. And his content's always the greatest, especially if you're a person who doesn't want to watch horror movies, but still wants to know the story.
I think I'm going to clip this part. James and Chelsea, if you see this clip, because I'm going to put this on my podcast channel, just know that you're a big inspiration for me and Izzy. You inspire us to do a lot. And, you've inspired a lot on this channel, just a lot of things, So has Cody Leach and 3C Films. You guys have inspired us to start our channels. Okay, so fun story. We fucking recorded such a nice, meaningful message and stuff, and our thing just died on us, and we didn't get to record that part. But yeah, James and Chelsea from Deadmeat, 3C Films, and Cody Leach, you guys are just big inspirations, man. We love this horror podcast that we do, and comic podcasts, just anyone in general, just thank you so much. And now, Izzy, since we already kind of said what we love for just movies in general, we'll say them again. So just our favorite, when we're not watching horror or comic movies, we love just simple movies.
Yeah.
We love Adam Sandler movies. Oh, another actor I want to say, Devon Sawa. Man, I love you, Devon Sawa.
Oh, hell yeah.
Devon Sawa, you're national gold, man. Idle Hands is what I'm always going to remember you from. But anyways, back to our favorite movies. So Adam Sandler movies, I love sports movies. I do. Some of my favorites are Never Back Down, Longest Yard, the one with Adam Sandler, The Blind Side, and Bloodsport. I love Bloodsport. Izzy knows how much I love martial arts movies.
I do. And I'm not a sports movie person, so I don't really have a list. But, I mean, if you want to include Adam Sandler, then probably Waterboy and Happy Gilmore.
Waterboy, hell yeah. And I know you said when we were recording it, you said something about the Bad Boy movies.
Yeah.
Bad Boys, yeah. Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, awesome team up. I can't wait for Bad Boys 4. That's gonna be a sleeper.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good ass one. I love simple movies. Our first movie we ever seen together was 40-Year-Old Virgin, and that movie had her dying. I think I was scared just because I'm like, I remember the day before we went on our first date, just watching a movie, on the college campus and on her laptop and stuff. I looked up, what's a good first movie date? And 40-Year-Old Virgin came up. I was like, oh, really? Fuck it, I'm going to try it out. And sure enough, it worked out. I was kind of afraid. I'm like, damn, what if Izzy doesn't get my sense of humor or hates it?
Yeah, it was such a good first movie. And believe it or not, before that, I didn't really watch a lot of, live action. It's not live action, but, I was an animation movie person, so I didn't watch movies like that, but I'm so happy I did. And now I think our go-to drama besides superhero And horror is definitely comedy.
Oh my god, yeah, we can watch comedy. I mean, shit, we both love South Park.
Yeah.
South Park. I mean, yeah, no disrespect to Simpsons or Family Guy, they're cool, but South Park is where it's at. We're always quoting South Park, you know. I think my favorite South Park character is always going to be Keeney.
Keeney.
And who's your Keeney would be your favorite, right?
Yeah, Keeney would be my
favorite. My least favorite, I hate Randy. I hated his stupid Tegrity Farm storyline. That was annoying.
See, I didn't mind. I also was late on the South Park bandwagon, but I did not mind the Tegrity plot.
Yeah, it's whatever, you know. Like I said, we're simple people. You know, when we're not watching a horror comic movie, I just go to comedy, you know. I think another comedy movie I love is This Is the End, Superbad. Yeah. Well, remember the Martin Lawrence movie I showed you, National Security and Blue Streak? Yeah. Or what about Half Baked with Dave Chappelle?
Oh.
Yeah, I love stoner comedy. Is my favorite type of comedy, you know. And when I showed her Half Baked with Dave Chappelle, she was laughing her ass off. My brother Victor showed me that at a very young age. He should never have. My brother Victor should never have shown me that video, that movie when I was so young. But damn it, I'm glad he did, because that's one of my favorite comedies right there.
It got you hooked, didn't it?
Oh hell yeah! You know, just like with Friday, the Friday franchise, and just the Rush Hour franchise. I love the Rush Hour movies. You know, Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker, two actors you never think would have that good of a chemistry, but no, they were good.
Do.
Yeah. Which one is better, Bad Boys or Rush Hour? I can't choose. I feel like that's so hard because you can't really compare the two.
They have like two whole different chemistries, and it just, you can't compare the two.
What if we got a crossover with them? Ooh, but granted, because Rush Hour is like PG-13 and Bad Boys is rated R.
I think they could make it work.
Oh,
especially,
hell yeah.
aren't they all doing like their next fourth?
You know, I know they're making Bad Boys 4, but Rush Hour 4, you know how many times I've heard that they're going to do it, and they never do? I mean, by the time they do it, what's the movie going to be about? Them escaping from the fucking elderly home? I don't know, damn. You know, they're up there in age. I think they're both I think Jackie Chan's 70. I know 70, that hurts, yeah. But Chris Tucker's like in his 50s. It's going to be hard. I mean, I'm pretty sure they can still do it, but damn, they're going to pull some muscle. They better limber up or something.
I think they could do it.
Yeah.
Plus, I think they love the franchise themselves, so it's the passion that drives them.
Yeah, and then, you know, I know for a while they said that Jet Li was going to be a main villain, and then Danny DeVito, and it's like, damn, just make the movie already, damn. But yet again, I don't think they can do their humor like they could back then.
Oh,
hell no, they couldn't.
No.
Especially from the first movie. There's so many funny moments in that first movie, in that whole franchise. I'm like, damn, if you say this today, you're done.
Yeah, I don't think people would, especially the newer generation of people, they would not like the humor.
Oh, they would hate Sex Drive.
That is
Sex
such
Drive.
a good movie, though.
If anyone knows Sex Drive, that's the perfect coming of age movie right there. That's, you know, that and The First American Pie are some of just the best high school movies ever.
Yeah,
I think I showed you Sex Drive.
You showed me both of them.
American Pie and Sex Drive, yeah. Sex Drive is just funny as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, we just want to make this fun little episode. Granted, we had a lot more to say in our other one before we got fucking cut off.
I know.
But as always, take care of others, take care of yourselves. We just wanted to do this episode because it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, we wanted to do the mic setup, and like I said, I'm like, you know what? Let's do a fun little episode, one where we can just chillax and have fun.
Yeah.
And as always, take care of yourselves and just be a nice person in this crappy world.
Be good people.
Yeah, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Peace out, everyone.
Bye, guys.